what's happening on the street is everyone's getting a lot thinner.
Yes.
But there's a time bomb. Without the intervention work, all you're doing is losing everything. Yes, you're losing fat, and you are losing fat, but you are losing muscle mass at the same rate. In most cases, in the course of a year after finishing taking high doses, the weight does go back on.
So the problem is it doesn't get back on with muscles. They lose muscle and fat, and they gain fat back mainly.
What is a good drug and has great benefits, but in the wrong approach and the wrong dosage, will become a bad drug. With the right approach and the exercise input, we see people retain most of their muscle.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Eat, Burn, Sleep podcast. We are now jumping straight into the second part of this episode. If you haven't had a chance to listen to part 1, I invite you to go back and listen to it now. Let's continue the conversation and pick up right where we left off.
All the GLP-1 medications been out there for the last, it's probably 4 or 5 years being used as a weight loss leisure drug rather than being a diabetic drug, with reams of data about diabetes usage. It's been fantastic. And now we're seeing the upshot of how is this going? 4 or 5 years in, what's happening? And what's happening on the street is everyone's getting a lot thinner.
Yes.
It's quite noticeable. You go to any party anywhere, you think, wow, you dropped a ton of weight. So are you feeling okay?
So many.
Yeah, and that's great, but there's a time bomb with this.
Oh my God, I said this recently. Because unfortunately, there's no free lunch, and there's always a price for everything. And that's why I wanted you on here to talk about this, because I know so many people are on it, and I want them to do the right things so they minimize the damage.
Yeah.
Rather than just be super excited about the scale going down without looking at other metrics.
So what's happening is it's a phenomenal set of drugs. And on balance, before I go into the detail why, on balance, I'd say it's a positive drug.
Okay.
And that's over a lot of considered work with people and the research behind it. And my view might change. I mean, this is fresh stuff, isn't it? So we're learning as we go to a degree. But with conversations with people in the pharmaceutical world who have a very neutral view of the thing, they aren't producing it themselves. All the evidence that they've seen and I've seen from them has been that by far on balance it's positive. So for females in particular, there's a very strong anti-inflammatory effect. So the effect of taking it is significant. It reduces inflammation, it helps the gut for some people to be calmed as well if there are gut issues. That sounds a bit perverse
because not advice for people with inflammatory bowel disease.
No, and that's where you've got to be careful over who uses it. So if someone has something like SIBO, let's say, where it's overactivated, you're creating a problem in which you've got then potentially a slowing down of the bowel, which might cause an issue with certainly maybe actually making that SIBO become heightened. But it's about dosage. So I think the key thing with it, by the looks of the data that we've looked at and seen, and looking at our use with clients as well, is that what no one should be doing is upping their dosage beyond almost the minimum. So if you go beyond first, second stage where they take you through, it strongly appears that there's no great gain from taking to the dose to the highest levels.
Okay.
Psychologically, you think you're doing a great thing, that's all fine, but I don't think there's actually, based on what our doctors are seeing, any return on the investment with that increase. It's more you think that you might be. What we need is to have people staying on the low to medium dosage, but doing the work. Without the intervention work, then all you're doing is losing everything. Yes, you're losing fat, and you are losing fat, but you are losing muscle mass at the same rate. So like any diet, if you tell someone to not eat for 2 weeks, they'll lose weight. Of course they will, but it's muscle mass alongside some fat. This is no different. The impact of it is the same. You're reducing calorie intake. You're quietening the food noise. You're making the gut slow to make sure there's less of that need to try and feel like you're in need of eating. And these are all potentially good things to a point. But there's a point at which if you keep on going up in the dose, all you're doing is accelerating that process in the short term. Coming off the product becomes incredibly difficult. And psychologically, there's a highly addictive component. Not that it's addictive, but the process of the thing that it does to you is highly addictive. So there's a reliance on the thing, not chemical, purely psychological, in that, oh my God, I've lost 30 kilos in weight. And the moment you come off it, within a week or two, you gained a kilo back or 2 back. And then you freak out thinking this is going to be a slippery slope. It's going to go back and back and back and back. And actually reality is, in most cases, in the course of a year after finishing taking high doses, the weight does go back on.
Yeah.
Almost
but
invariably.
The problem is it doesn't get back on with muscles.
No, exactly that. And that's
so they lose muscle and fat, and they gain fat back mainly.
Because you've lost the muscle.
Yeah.
And that's why there has to be a program to go through. And that's what we do with people. In fact, we just set up a specialist department to do this, of giving the medication in very controlled doses via our GP, alongside very strict structured exercise and diet programming. And because we can track your data, we know if you have or have not done the work. And if you've not done the work, you're off the program. So it's all about giving people what is a good drug and has great benefits, but in the wrong approach and the wrong dosage will become a bad drug. With the right approach and the exercise input, and retain that strength again, have that strength component be quite significant. With that, we see people retain most of their muscle, not all. Even with the strength work and the GLP-1s, there is still muscle loss. It's sort of inevitable. But you're losing more percentage, though, a ratio of the fats rather than the muscle if you do the workouts. And also, critically, you consume enough protein.
Yeah.
So people obviously reduce their eating habits. And when they do eat, the feedback is that there's a desire for sugar. So they're reaching for the wrong form of calories that they actually really need to rebuild the body. So you've got to really navigate this in a quite strict way. There has to be the right protein grams per day intake, and that's tricky because if someone weighs, pick a number, 65 kilos, they should be having, as a female, probably 75, maybe 80 grams of protein per day. Try that on someone who's on GLP-1s. They struggle to get past about 40, 50 grams because there's just not that desire to eat.
Yeah.
So you've got to be strategic over using essential amino acids. So you've got the ability to try and get the cells to regenerate without that quantity, that bulking agent going in. Encourage good eating, for sure. Try and get it from the right sources. And secondary to that becomes then the carb intake, because you've got to get the protein in. And that's the challenge. And this is no perfect method. We can make this work, and we make people lose weight and retain the muscle mass, and they will stay there. Is it comfortable doing it? Is it straightforward? No, it's not. It's really not. I mean, the ideal is you have the willpower and you don't have the food noise and everything's rosy and you can do all the work and you have that's the idea. But, for lots of people, that's not the case. Yeah. There's an overwhelming food noise there. Yeah. Thinking about that next meal, that next snack, that next thing. It's not necessarily their fault. It's just the way they're built. So trying to overcome that is challenging. And the GLP-1s help to do that, but we can't have that happen unless there is a route through that guides them through to then learn new habits, set up new structures and programs, learn how they react to it, retain the fitness and the muscle mass, and then come out the other side feeling and being leaner and then not gaining it again in the first 6 months.
So have you seen people come off it and be able to keep the weight off?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah, we've seen both sides of it, though, where they haven't. But those that put the work in and have followed the program, they absolutely have kept the weight off. And there's a bit of gain back. It's not 100% staying off for sure. It definitely comes back a little bit. Yeah. But it's a lot less, and they retain the strength. So then they stay in this really good state of being super fit and healthy, less fat, more lean, and are in a good place. But that's, it's a challenge. Yeah. It's a challenge. It can be 100% done, but it is a challenge for sure. And the way to go about it, in terms of when someone's taking GLP-1s, what people really don't recognize is that you're going to feel tired. Yeah. Because there's not enough calories going in.
Oh my God. And also it does other things. I remember I met with a journalist actually, and she could barely hear me. I don't know if she had low blood pressure because of this, but But she kept yawning. She was in a state, and she said to me, "I'm so sorry. I took my dose of Mounjaro yesterday, and whenever I do it, I'm in this state." I mean, I felt so bad for her. I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
For me, it would be easier to not eat rather than feel like that.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
So it could be that she's not responding to the drug. I mean, people do have, like any drug or medication, there's a reaction.
Yeah.
Some people it's worse than others. So for some, whether it's Ozempic or Mounjaro or any of them, they can get obvious skin reactions. So this thing is not right for them. They can get reactions of being super tired.
Yeah.
This is not right for them. So it's really about, you have to not just go with it and think it's just the drug. It might be the drug's not right for you. So then you have to probably come off it, stay off for a bit, reboot, get the energy back again, live with the consequences of that, and then maybe try another one and see if that works. But don't flip between them because one's not working. You'll just stay on the thing, have some time out, and then back onto it again. But the tiredness as well might just literally be low blood sugar. It might just be lack of calories. It might just be that they, in the early stages, feel nauseous because it can have that side effect. For some people, the slowing down of the bowel means that they can get diarrhea. There's an excretion of more fluid from in the gut, and you get that happening. That feels pretty gross as well. So all things are all going on. You feel just a bit rubbish. So again, this is no easy ride, but it has a good benefit if used in the correct way. That's why there's a need to ensure that if you're working out, this is not your regular workout. If you try and go into the gym, and we saw this in the early days of testing people, go into the gym and try and do your interval work, go into the row machine and try and do your normal thing of doing whatever, 5 times 500 meters. By number 3, they're on the floor. There's no ability.
There's no sugar in
No
there.
sugar. They can't access anything that's there. They are out. And not just out for that bit of the workout, they're out for the workout. So once they're gone, they're gone. So we learned pretty quickly at the start, this is a no-go. So now we know it's fine doing the zone 1, 2, and 3. Beyond that, the zones 4 and 5 on GLP-1s, unlikely they can actually last for long. It's just not advised to do much of that stuff. In zones 2, 3, the longer stuff, they're totally fine using it. Within the strength training, again, same thing. If you go for circuit training work, so if you're going for something which is going for an arm thing, then a leg thing, then an arm thing, then a leg thing, you're going to keep on going, you're going to be collapsing within 15 minutes and you aren't coming back. So you've got to go for, again, this measured approach. You do one thing at a time, do it well, step off a bit, get some water, take a minute or two, come back on again, do it well, create the strength in the same way. And that's successful. If you try and go for that HIIT approach, you are just going to feel like death within 15, 20 minutes, and you're just never going to be able to get your workouts going. So you've got to measure it in the right way. And that's what we've done through experience and through the research and all the reading and listening from around the world as well. So it's at a really good stage of understanding the product and the response to the product. We've got the solution of how to best utilize it. But I keep stressing the fact that this is not option A.
Yeah,
it really isn't. It's probably not option B either, but it's probably on the option list because everyone likes a shortcut, and it is a shortcut. But equally, it's a shortcut that probably has a good outcome if you get someone trained and educated along the way. So it's a good option if they do the work and if they listen, they learn, and you recreate habits. Then actually, it's a great option. So yeah, I'm net positive for it.
That's interesting. I'm much more skeptical.
I know.
but it's great because, we live in a world where it's not possible to converse and everyone wants to think the same thing. And I think it's very healthy to hear different opinions. What concerns me about it is the side effects when it comes to the pancreas, to blood sugar regulation, to the gallbladder, to gut health. I get many people who send me messages on Instagram who have been on it, who come off it because they have such bad gastrointestinal symptoms. And what worries me is what you're describing, because what you're saying makes complete sense, but do people actually do this? That is the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
And muscle mass really helps us stay slimmer because it helps regulate blood sugar levels because food, the glucose gets stored as glycogen in the muscles. So if these people, and the reason why I have such a negative view is in my social circles in London, I've seen women who just wanted to lose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kilos. We're not talking about people who are morbidly obese.
Yeah, this is the off-label stuff. This is where it changes that dynamic.
And that, what they don't realize is they are really hurting their longevity because they're impacting their bone mass because of the muscle mass, because of all the things you described earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
And they thin down completely and there is no muscle on them. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yes, you're fitting in that dress, but fast forward to when you're 70, what happens when you slip in the shower?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's all 100% correct. And this is the thing. This is why I tiptoe carefully through I'm caveating strongly over I'm net positive only if you go about it in one way. Deviate from the pathway and all those negatives are real, for sure. The impact on the pancreas, there can only be an impact on the pancreas if you take this thing at high dose or take it long term. The manufacturers, in their absolute defense, they say will cause, in long-term usage, possible pancreatitis. They say in their defense that the gut is affected, the gastrointestinal system is affected and slowed. That's how the drug works. The gallbladder, the same. So these are not actually, in fairness to the manufacturers, hidden away. So we've got to listen to what they say and work on, surely this is a way of containing the product and using it in the correct way. Because your point about people taking away 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds to get into a size X dress is absolutely correct, in that if that's all you're doing, then you are doomed to failure and slip in the shower when you're 65 years old and you will break something. So those are all possible problems and options. I guess in the counter of that, if someone is carrying not the 3, 4, 5 pounds extra, but carrying 35 pounds extra, and the comorbidities that go alongside that, and the risk of problems with that we know possibly could be cancerous, it could be diabetes, it can be all manner of other things which are going to kill you in a different way. Which of the two things is better or worse? And honestly, we don't know.
No. Yeah.
Honestly, we can't know yet. It's impossible. So we've got to take a bit of a, educated guess over, okay, this person will benefit because we think this person has some risks that are here. This person over here won't because there are other issues. They have an autoimmune condition. It's probably a no. Yeah. So we've got to really weigh up each case. And it's not a blanket, this is fine for all, by a long way. It has to be very measured. And that's why medical intervention, GP intervention, I think they want to know more information about this area. I think they're also, learning along the way. They know what it can do, but it's not the panacea. If we start giving this out to everybody, then this is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
If this is an NHS product where you're just giving it out, dishing it out to try and solve the obesity crisis, then we have a huge problem coming. So it's got to be measured, targeted. And no, I agree with you totally. I mean, I'm still a net pro. It's just that I'm very net pro in a very tight window.
Yes.
That alone. Outside that, then it's a straight no. It's a negative for sure.
But the good news that I just want people to remember is it feels so good to implement healthier habits. So you're hooked on it, I'm hooked on it, and God knows I love a good glass of wine or a piece of cake, but then you start sleeping better, having better productivity, your mood is lifted, you have mental clarity. So at the beginning, implementing healthier habits is hard because the body resists change. We hate change as humans. We just want to keep doing what we're doing. But once we shift and it becomes autopilot and you no longer require discipline, you're thriving on it, and it becomes not that difficult. You, Matt Roberts, you do not struggle every day to look the way you do because it's become habits. Yeah,
that's right. That's exactly it. And that's where once you create that, then staying on it is hopefully great and easy for most people. But it's not for everyone, and it can be a struggle to get to that point. I think that, I'm often asked, do you eat really, are you careful on having a healthy diet? And the answer really is that, my diet just is what it is. I've always chosen healthy because that's how I was kind of brought up, and that's why I like, and therefore my diet's healthy. I guess it's healthy because that's all I know. So do I deviate from that? Do I have a glass of wine now and again? Yeah, of course I do. But I'm not set up to go and keep on binging and drinking like crazy. It's just not what I do, because it's a habit, it's a format, and nothing feels as good as feeling good, feeling healthy. It's the best drug in the world, and the ability at 52 years old, it's getting tougher actually, to play tennis with my son and keep up. That's actually a lost battle, to be honest with you. But I can play at a high level, and I can run hard, and I play tennis with friends, and we push it. That's the win. You don't want to go and jump on a bike, go mountain biking in the Alps for a few days. Yeah, absolutely. And go and do it. And not think twice about it. It's not a case of, oh, baby, ready for that. You just go on and do the thing. You want to go skiing for a week and go and blast it? Yeah, fine, absolutely. And that's where the wins are. So nothing feels as good as that. And the truth is that that's me, that's you, but it's everybody's option. Everyone can, most people can do that. To whichever degree. And it's not about competing. It's just purely about you can do these things and extend yourself. And honestly, there's no point living through your life and gaining everything materially if at the end of your life, that's all you've done. If you can genuinely live and you're social and you go and travel, for me personally, I love being in the mountains, whether it's winter or summer. I love going hiking, biking, skiing, you name it. I'm really kind of at peace in the mountains. So that's a thing that for me, it's worth everything. It's great. My kids, who are now 23 and 21, horrifyingly, have got the same mindset as well. They love going and doing the same thing. So we have a great time doing that, and that's worth more than anything. But it takes being healthy to keep on doing that and really relish doing that. And the things that set us back, and you've had injuries, it's injuries and illness that make us get older. Once you start to, if you break down in some way, if you break a thing, or you damage something, or you get an illness that knocks you out, it's that can potentially take you off the rails. And we've got to have the attitude of when something goes wrong, it's just another challenge. You've got to get past the challenge. How can I make the most of this opportunity? And it's a bit weird saying it, but let's view it as being an opportunity. We're going to rebuild around the thing and make sure we're a better version coming back than we were. And that's tough on the dark days, because it's like, oh, damn it, I've done the thing. But you've got to have that mindset of being back on. Because the moment you stop having that is when you miss, I said before, the 2 weeks, and then the 4 weeks, and then the 8 weeks, and you then go off that cliff of fitness. Then you lose the muscle mass and the strength, and then we're going down and down, and there's then a tough route back. So we've got to have that mentality of just stay up, stay up, stay up. And I stress again, if you be the same today as you were 10 years ago, that would be the win. So we're just looking to stay the same. That's all.
Couldn't agree more. I actually had a disc bulge in 2016. And thanks to that, and I will say it, I've developed much better core muscles.
Yeah.
Because I realized that if I had more muscles around the spine, it might not have happened. So I created, I was twice a day working on my rehab, the front and the back, and I was just trying to think, I want all the muscles around my spine so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, quite. And that's the thing. So you have to take the thing and decide, okay, it's my new objective. It's my new version 2, 3, 4 of me, and you keep on going with the thing. So we've got to overcome it all. And, life is just chapters. And these are all just parts of the story. So you have to just make sure you get past whatever challenge it is, regrow, reboot, and learn from it and develop more. And it takes a certain mindset to do that, but we all have that within us as well. I think it's important that everyone thinks of what's the person you want to be? What do you visualize yourself as being? Are you the person who's, I just don't do that. I mean, I don't do exercise. I don't move. It's not me. Someone else does that. Well, it is you. Imagine that is you. Imagine the version of you that looks like. What does that feel like? What does that person achieve and do? And how satisfied are they? It's a really good feeling. So you've got to try and get into that mindset for those that struggle with it of, it's all within me. I'm just going to drag it out. And there's a person inside me which is going to be super active, healthy and well. And having that mentality, and it's not easy, but it can be done, is critical. And actually, funny enough, one of the things that I've done for years on and off, and probably the last few years I've focused a bit more on, to my annoyance because it's working, is meditation. So I started doing mantra-based meditation again about 3 years ago. And Michael, my meditative guru, he's a great guy, California, and he said, yeah, it's going to work, it's great. And I need the science. I needed the science behind why is it going to work? Come on, convince me. And he gave it to me, and I still wasn't convinced. And I started doing the work with him, and to my almost hate, it does. And I think that's one of the things that just keeps you able to keep things in their bubbles or their boxes, separate it away, stay separated away from things you're activated by, you're distracted by. So you can just focus on, okay, where am I in the middle of all of this? And I've got different sort of parts of me to get right. I can just keep them in their separate things because they're one entity in reality anyway. And for me, strangely, annoyingly, meditations work to try and help that physical process to really take shape.
Amazing.
It's fun.
On those good words, thank you for all your wisdom. It's been really interesting. And I love that you finished on the meditation bit because we know that neuroplasticity exists. And we know that if you are deciding during your meditation to be a healthier person, that is an amazing start to actually help you get there. So
it really is.
I love that you have included that. To everyone who's listening, you can find Matt Roberts in London, in Knightsbridge and in Mayfair. I will be linking his website, his Instagram handle and all of that. And if you are on GLP-1s, please go and see him. And just make sure to minimize the damage because it's not about perfection, it's about damage limitation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And to keep moving and to eat your protein so everything stays more or less there. Thank you so much, Matt, for being with us today.
Pleasure. Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you so much to all of you for listening to this podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always such a pleasure to talk about health because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Looking after our health is a daily thing, just like brushing our teeth. We've got to focus on it, we've got to do it right so we can live better and happier lives. For those of you who are not members of the platform yet, we have a discount code for all our podcast listeners. You can get 15% off the memberships. Just enter the code podcast15 at checkout. And make sure to read all the articles and all the free content we have on eatbrainsleep.com to keep you motivated and informed and educated about living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle.